welcome all of you once again to another set of interaction and a session with Young Odisha. And today our topic is youth and artificial intelligence, where we stand. Now, today it is 11th September, and I still get reminiscing to the past that 11th September 1893, Swami Vivekanand delivered his landmark speech at the Parliament of World's Religions in Chicago. And unlikely of not having a Vivekanand Day Chicago, the day itself commemorates his address, which introduces India's message of tolerance and harmony throughout the world. And on this occasion, what better than having serving a youth centric forum? This serves as a reminder of his transformative teachings that continue to resonate deeply in an era that has been defined by the rapid rise of AI and artificial intelligence. And as we all know, that it is no longer a science fiction, it is all about shaping how we learn and, in fact, how we dream today. But for our youth, the torchbearers of tomorrow, the question lies even deeper. Where we do stand, what are the opportunities and risks, and most importantly, how India as a nation leads with responsibility, ethics, and vision. To explore these dimensions, we are joined by our remarkable panelists, each bringing a unique set of discussion. We were joined by Professor Nandini Sahu, Vice Chancellor, Hindi University, West Bengal. But unfortunately, because she's traveling, she's not able to join us right away. We then have Shri Sujeet Kumar, Honorable Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, Odisha, and author to book AI on Trial, an engineer turned dynamic lawmaker, alumni from Oxford University, Master in Public Administration from Harvard University, and he's been deeply involved in shaping policies that has impacted India's youth and technological progress. We then have Mr. Abhivardhan, an entrepreneur, technological law specialist, President, Indian Society of Artificial Intelligence and Law, and he's one of India's leading voices in AI policy and governance, known for his expertise in navigating all the scales of technology, law, and society. So, once again, I thank you all for being here. And let us begin this theme with what our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, even has a vision for India. That is, he has always spoken about AI for all and double AI for India. So, my question to Sujeet sir first would be that India's vision, that is AI for all, aims to make AI as a tool of empowerment and not just as an exclusion. So, from being a policymaker and from your perspective as a lawmaker, what does this vision really mean for, especially for India's youth?
Well, good evening. Thank you, Lory, for hosting this very topical subject. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, and let me compliment you and the entire team of Young Odisha for hosting this quite critical subject, at least in the current context. And recently, I wrote an article about India's decade from 2014 onwards, the last 11 years, what I call the decade, India's technological renaissance. And AI plays a very, very key role in that technological renaissance. And how India has been late in the game in making India a AI powerhouse, but is steadily but certainly now growing by leaps and bounds, and has initiated a host of activities and schemes to do so. First and foremost is the India AI mission, which is the nodal body that looks into various aspects of making AI landscape or AI ecosystem more robust in our country. And one of the key initiatives you have already mentioned, Lori, is the AI for all,
Yeah.
which was in fact launched by Honorable Prime Minister in 2021. So 4 years ago, in July of 2021. And the key objective of, without going into the details, the key objective of AI for all initiative was to demystify AI for the common man and to increase the awareness about AI amongst the masses. When you talk of technology and particularly when you talk of AI, it makes some people a little bit diffident or a little bit I wouldn't say scared, but a little bit uncomfortable, particularly for people of my generation or beyond. You are from the Gen Z, so for you all it is much less intimidating. But for people, those who are, I must say, let's say beyond 45 or so, who are not necessarily in the prime of the youth, this technology is intimidating generally, but AI is a little more so. So the idea of AI for all was to bring awareness about AI amongst the masses and to demystify it.
So we have Abhivardhan, I think a specialist in AI governance, and my thought process really aligns with the work because I have been figuring out on all of your works individually. And with generative AI, Abhivardhan, that has been always, producing deep fakes, informations, and a lot of other miscalculative approach, I would say. Where do you see India currently standing in terms of global AI regulations? Because you're in the governance part. And probably, how is it that we compare with other countries' frameworks, maybe Europe or US? Like, if it is in a form, comparatively in a form of misinformation, where our youths are quite vulnerable to this approach, what governance model do you think that we as a nation should adapt?
Uh, it's a pleasure to speak alongside the Reverend Member of Parliament. And I think you have raised a great question. But before that, I would say that I think in this August forum of Young Odisha, I think we are discussing a very interesting intersection of youth and AI. So I think we say that the India AI mission started in March 2024, but the original India AI initiative, which was between METI and NASCOM, actually started in 2020 with the AI for all connotation with the Niti Aayog. Now, one thing which we see with respect to the youth is that definitely misinformation is a global problem, and India is a victim of it. Information warfare definitely affects us across ministries, departments, and even the judicial institutions. We have seen so many incidents where even judges are not spared by AI-based misinformation. It has
Yes.
happened in the income tax appellate tribunal in Bengaluru to start with, and it has happened in other places as well. But I think my perspective for the youth will be that I think number one, a lot of misinformation is driven by a very unreasonable cocktail of LLMs and recommendation algorithms. And the while the former is a new thing since 2023, the latter has been an old thing since a long time, like 2019. And that is something which, in the advertising side of things, maybe our courts can play a very productive role involving issues where the violation of the IT Act comes in, the Information Technology Act, which very apt, and the Social Media Ethics Code of 2021, which was amended as well. But while misinformation is one aspect, one thing which concerns me is about the way we look at our AI talent. Now, we used to think in the age of early social media in the 2010s that you can go to Seattle, you can go to Singapore and start something in tech. Now you can be somebody in Rajkot with good internet, maybe potentially data center. You can get some minimum compute for research. You can partner with somebody from Singapore, and then you too can partner with somebody in Austria or Estonia, European country, and then those people can partner with somebody in the US. So what I mean is that we are all AI economies are decentralized, and our talent is so critical that uh, no matter what AI company you develop, no matter what AI opportunities you develop, I think protecting our talent and uh, giving them a pathway that they can actually do better from a labor ethics and labor security angle is very important. Because while AI advancements are happening, I don't think that people who are domain experts or people who are upskilling themselves are not needed. So that is also because of the misinformation wave, right? Because it has been spread across that Indian talent is not needed because AI will wipe out jobs and all that. That's not happening because even in the bigger firms in the US, the adoption rate is going down. So see, it is one of the outcomes of misinformation.
But
But
I,
on
yeah.
the laws, I think we have the IT Act, Section 79A, but it's necessary that we go for substantive issues on recommendation algorithms, then we will easily catch up with Gemini. So
So yeah, I think what you've mentioned, I'll put it up to Sujeet sir once again, because
yeah,
someone coming from the powerful people's narrative, who was very
yeah,
closely working with them at the ground level till the upper level. You've seen every genre, every generation of people, you're interacting with them. Do you think that we are actually prepared for the AI outcomes? Because if I reiterate the subject of 2023, where the elections were being mishandled with the AI misinformation format. So if we put that question apart, are we as a nation, or we as voters or young voters, politically ready? I mean, is India politically ready for a misuse or mishap of AI in the upcoming elections? Or how is it that we as a nation would be balancing between promoting AI and at the same time ensuring that we safeguard these measures for
Okay.
sensitive areas and cases like elections, employments, and national security?
Lory, let me first go to the basics. Why are we even discussing this? Why are we even discussing issues of accountability, transparency, fakes, biases with regards to AI? Now, for millennia, technology has evolved, and mankind has learned how to handle the two sides of technology, both the good sides and the good side and the bad side. Now, what is different with AI? You know, in the past, technology, whether it was the invention of the wheel or invention of the printing press or a steam engine or an aeroplane or computer or even internet, in every single invention in the history of mankind, technology behaved exactly the way human beings wanted it to behave. The difference with AI is that for the first time in human history, machines have started developing cognitive skills, or at least semi-cognitive skills. What I mean by that is that machines have started behaving autonomously, at least to some extent. Okay, and going forward, this is only going to increase. And I'll answer your query. Before that, I'll justify why I say this. There have been many examples, and in my book, you quoted my book AI on Trial. The book explores the legal liability and accountabilities of AI models, AI systems. In the book, I've explored many real life examples, real life case studies across the globe where AI models or AI machines have started behaving autonomously, both in a good way and bad way. Mr. Abhivardhan spoke about the IT80, the Bangalore IT80 judgment, which was actually a hallucination of the Chat GPT. That's a different thing. That is not the problem of, or it is not because of the ill behavior of AI model. Now, I'll give you two examples, one tragic and one comical, where there are serious legal complications and liabilities of AI models and repercussions. One is with regards to a case in the US where a 14-year-old teenager committed suicide last year. Okay, now, sadly, many teenagers commit suicide across the globe, which is sad, but that is the reality. Now, why is this particular case so special, and why have I quoted this in my book, and why am I quoting it now? Um, uh, as you would have it, this 14-year-old boy committed suicide in Florida, was motivated, or rather, the suicide was triggered by a chat bot called character.ai. So a couple of young entrepreneurs from Google, they left Google and they started this startup called character.ai, which is the name of the company, the name of the chat bot. And this teenager, he befriended this chatbot, and for weeks or even months, he was living in a virtual world. What is shocking and what is very unfortunate is that none of his peers or his parents or his teachers, raised any concern. He virtually set himself from the real world and was interacting with this chatbot and kept doing whatever the chatbot prompted you to do. And finally, the chatbot asked him to commit suicide. And the last words were, in fact, I've quoted the exact verbatim last couple of words of the chatbot. The last words were, "Come home to me, come home to me." And I mean, that was signal for the boy to commit suicide. Now, this is not an isolated example. Many impressionable minds, are developing very unhealthy relationship with this virtual world. And this is such a tragic case. Now, what is concerning is that abetment to suicide is a crime in almost all the jurisdictions, including in our country. IPC 306, abetment to suicide, is an offense. Now it's Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. I do not know exact section of BNS, but IPC 306 makes abetment to suicide a criminal offense. The challenge is that the accused can be a human being. Accused has to be a human being. Okay. In this case, who is the accused? Who do we prosecute? Character.ai is a line of codes. It's an AI model. So do we prosecute the entrepreneurs who started this company? Do we prosecute the software engineers who wrote the line of code and probably they are in Bangalore or in any tech hub? Or who do you prosecute? There is no answer. So the issue of legal liability of AI comes up now. So this is a tragic example. Let me give you another comic example. In Shanghai in China, in December of 2024, a robot, okay, let's call it a senior robot, convinced 12 junior robots to go on strike. Okay, it happened. You can Google it and find it for yourself. So the senior robot, okay, based on the algorithm, realized that the owner of the factory in which it was deployed made it to work much longer than what similar other robots work in other factories. And then using that as an example, as a pretext or as an excuse, the senior robot who was deployed for a longer duration than other robots in the factory asked 12 younger robots to go on a strike. I mean, it might sound like science fiction, but this is what has happened. It's comical. So here, where is the accountability? Accountability of you apply Turing test. We can't apply Turing test to this. So where is the accountability of this is an AI enabled robot? So where is the accountability of that robot here? Okay, which section of the regulatory framework or which regulatory framework do we apply here? So my argument is that in order to build a robust ecosystem, people talk of three things. They talk of the infrastructure, whether it's the computing power or the power infrastructure. They talk of AI talent, or they talk of the data. Now we have a decent infrastructure now with 24,000 GPUs. We have good quality. We are building our power infrastructure massively. We have if not adequate, we have a decent AI talent. We have 19 million software engineers. If they are trained well enough, then we'll have good AI talent. Now AI is being incorporated into the school curriculum. As a nation, we have very good data. Which other country in the world can boast of data sets as linguistically, culturally diverse as our country? So those three things are fine. What is lacking in my view, and I would strongly argue, is that we as a nation have not woken up to the regulatory need to regulate AI. All we have to help us is the IT Act of 2000. Okay, it's 25 years old. That is the only act or piece of legislation that we have that still regulates our IT and technological landscape. 25 years is a long time in the digital space, in the technological space. Technology is evolving every few days, few months. So it's high time that the parliament passes a comprehensive law. There is talk of the Digital India Act of 2020. It has been discussed for the last 2 years, but we don't know what's happening. I think METI is still working on it, but it's high time that we come up with a holistic umbrella piece of legislation that will also regulate AI.
I think that which you have mentioned, sir, very rightly mentioned, that who is to be blamed. And from there, I would take it up for Abhivardhan, because you have been closely working as a specialist in AI governance. As Sir mentioned, that there was a comic example, there was a serious example, and we all are aware of the November 27, 24. The issue that was created, how AI responded to Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud's penalty request, and the questions, whatever was raised, was misquoted, fabricated, and biased. So, we would like to understand from you that in terms of AI, and as Turing test sir mentioned, like can AI ever be trusted in sensitive judicial matters? And actually, as he rightly pointed, who bears the responsibility for those mistakes? Is the developer, is the user, or it's the state who has to be blamed? And where do we create that red line where AI is not allowed to operate at all?
So I will take a little bit of an Indian legal example because we have other technologies which also have been regulated in India. And basis on that, I'll also give an aspect that what can be done in India. I mean, I have analyzed global perspectives of China and others, and so I understand that, but I wish to focus on the India aspect. So, like Sujeet ji has pointed out about that sad incident in the United States, similarly with AI agents, which we have seen a problem that they penetrate the application and OS layer of Android and iPhones. And then they penetrate the idea of consent in such a vicarious way that nobody can even trace that beyond giving consent one time, how exactly am I going to be affected? Basically, having a cybersecurity risk. So, definitely, questions of liability should arise by now, irrespective of what kind of AI it is, whether it is generative, non generative, symbolic system. But even if we take fintech law, for example, in India, we started with very close ended I would say, high stakes regulatory approach under the RBI, and we came up with sandboxes, like the government of Maharashtra did, RBI did, the central government did. In health, also, the ICMR has guidelines on AI, but even otherwise for health tech, sometimes on data. If I'm right, there has been a sandbox approach so that you do innovation, but you have a pilot that, because AI governance in the field which I am in, it's actually a part of data governance. Now, everywhere, data governance will involve various life cycles of an AI system. So, when you are at a post prototype stage, it's actually possible to audit it and then see how can you establish a form of accountability. I think that is something which at a minimal level can be done even for a startup and even for a legacy company. But at the same time, I think we should have a legal right to AI literacy, like we have citizen charters for multiple things, with whether it is aviation, whether it is passport or anything, because a lot of public-private partnerships with AI will happen. So I think so. A lot of like Sujit said, with AI as a technology, it is just evolving in its way that we can't establish human trust in a stable sense, as opposed to something like a wheel or something like a pen or something like an iPhone, because it is just or that's how automation works. A lot of times it's also happening with generative AI that we don't even know how these models work. And therefore, lack of explainability of the model architecture also creates problems. So I think, yeah, some limited accountability can be started. But I think for these actions, hallucination will not go away. But while tech behavior can't be changed with LLMs, it doesn't mean that companies should get away with it. But I think it can be started with data governance. I think that's a very good metric. And we should have insurance provisions, at least for civil liability to begin with, considering chatbots proliferating everywhere. So,
Well, I think that that's quite sorted to understand and hear from you. But we have many young eyeballs watching us, Sujit sir, especially because it's a youth-centric program. And I'm sure that for every scholar out there must be quite inquisitive to understand that now that we are standing in a digital colonialism, and there's a loss of human touch everywhere, we cannot filter it out. So what according to you should be the I wouldn't say guidelines, but how should parents, educators, or university probably prep up themselves so that the scholars are being able to safeguard themselves, because that's the biggest threat of AI that it poses to digital humanities. And how do we separate that particular thing like, do we risk losing the soul of the art of whatever we are doing? And as a society, do we even care about it? So holistically, if I talk about parents, educators, or the university at a large, how can we safeguard our scholars?
Scholars meaning safeguard our youth.
Like people who are actually, working it out without, I mean, my question is that AI skills are more important right now, or primarily degrees? Because with the apt um, with the invent of AI, almost 21% of jobs have been degraded because AI skills have uplifted them. So is it important that yes, we have to be overskilled with all those things? Or what about the students who are being lagged? Like, let's suppose we are talking about urban and the rural differences, or the rich and the poor. Everyone cannot access that thing. So, how do we actually bridge those gaps with AI?
Well, AI offers as us as a nation an immense opportunity to leapfrog. And I'll give another couple of examples to justify this. Think of the telephones, the desk phones. Now we were lagging behind the rest of the world in terms of penetration of telephones.
Mm.
But today we are the, as in absolute numbers at least, we are the largest mobile users in a user nation in the world with almost a billion smartphones, and most of it in semi-urban and rural India, right? So a nation which didn't have enough number of telephones today has a billion smartphones because we leapfrogged. Similarly, AI can be leveraged to leapfrog in multiple areas, whether it's healthcare, education, agriculture, disaster management, and it's happening. It's happening now in Odisha. We are using AI to offer edu content in local dialects in the remotest hamlets of the state. Now it's well known that it's difficult to build schools in every corner of Odisha, every corner of the country for that matter. Teacher absenteeism is a big issue in
Yes,
rural
that's
areas.
what. Yes.
It's a huge issue. Now, how do you? So, you don't have adequate number of classrooms. We have schools where four classes they study in one room. Okay, so the four corners are used as four classrooms with four blackboards or whiteboards, and then just imagine the challenges of learning in such an atmosphere. Now, there are many schools. Sorry, there are many schools in Malkangiri, Kalandi, and other remote districts of Odisha where already we have the content. Let's say you have edtech companies who have content in Hindi, or you have content in English. We have used that content AI to convert that content into Odia and local dialects, and then now that is being taught in remote schools. So over 2-3 years, I believe that there is significant improvement in the learning matrices, indicators and parameters related to education of primary and secondary schools because of this massive usage of AI. Telemedicine today, Sanjeevani platform is being used to offer diagnostic services, to offer counseling. I'll give an example from the political world. Any member of parliament, if he or she wants to speak in any language other than Hindi or English, had to give a 24-hour notice period before. Okay, whether in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Why? Because the parliament secretary had to organize and arrange for translators and transcribers. If I were to speak in Odia, then I had to give a 24-hour notice period. Otherwise, I could not speak. If I speak in English or Hindi, there's no need to give a notice period because the secretary arranges a translator and a transcriber. Okay. Now, 2 years ago, 3 years ago rather, a committee was constituted, and I was part of that committee. And along with IIT Madras and Bhasini team of METI and Anuvadini team of Ministry of Education, we we formed a committee, and the committee was tasked with developing a model for an application where any member of parliament, without giving any advance notice, can speak in any of the 22 official languages, and it could be translated in real time. And you'll be happy to note that we have now the functionality to enable any member of parliament to speak in any of the 11 languages out of the 22. I mean, over a period of time, we'll get to all the 22. We don't have that capability as of now, because for many languages like Santali, for Nepali, for Dogri, we do not have adequate number of data sets. And politicians, when they speak, they have a particular nuance, they have a particular accent, some
Yes.
dark political judgment. So we do not have adequate number of data sets to train the model. But eventually, in a couple of years, all the 22 official languages will be part of this application, and any MP can speak in any language, and it will be translated real time with almost 97-98% accuracy as of now, which will only increase further. So these are real examples. These are tangible examples of how AI has been revolutionizing different sectors. Now, my advice to youth: see, as any invention or as any technological advancement, this is a double-edged sword. Okay,
Yes.
give the example of teenage suicides, which is now, because teenage suicides being prompted by AI. Now, AI let's say it's a box. What you feed in, you'll get the output accordingly. Okay. Now, biases. I think someone spoke about biases. You or Mr. Abhivardhan, I don't know, but if the data you feed in is replete with biases, then obviously the output also will be biases. Okay. So first and foremost, I think massive awareness campaign is necessary. But I'm thankful to our honorable Prime Minister, because today there is no other world leader probably who understands technology as much as he does. And because of his great understanding of technology, he has directed almost all the ministries of government of India. He has directed Ministry of Education to start massive training awareness campaign, digital literacy campaign for all segments of society, starting from school kids to civil servants to panchayat functionaries, elected representatives. So that, I think, is the first and foremost step. Second thing is regarding the necessary for developing our own models. As a nation, I think we don't necessarily have to ape the West. I don't think we are in a position where we can develop a large language model, or a chat GPT or a DeepSeek kind of model. That's okay. I'm not worried about that, because our challenges are different. We
Yes.
are very good in developing application models, the small language models. So we have so many challenges. We have best data set in the world. Let's leverage this data set to develop our own applications, small applications for contextual, our contextual needs, our specific needs. And here, I think, I'll strongly urge the youth to step forward and try to be entrepreneurs. You understand the local need, uh, learn technology. It's not a very difficult thing. It's not rocket science, and find solutions for those local needs. And I think there is enough potential for you to be successful, to make money for yourself, and in the process, solve the challenges that we have in our country.
That being said, I think, sir, you've really very well elaborated what the youth needs to be precautious of. But Abhivardhan, I would like to understand this thing from you, especially because we have spoken on the measures and governance and everything. And as sir mentioned that it's all about the biased feed that you are giving. Whatever you feed into the system is going to give you the same output. So do you think that it is truly empowering the youth, or it is actually creating a sort of digital caste system?
I would say that sadly, large language models are creating a digital classism and cultism. And that is not necessarily just because of data bias, because a lot of time it's variance and all that, and there are a lot of machine learning techniques to fix that. But the problem is, uh, uh, and I think this has been summarized very well by Dr. Fei-Fei Li. She's a visual world model expert in machine learning. What she says, and I agree with her, that the concept of language in language models is that languages are like signals. So suppose you have an AI system which has to observe something in the visual world, like my photo or my video or something in the mountains, something in the cities. When that's why CCTV cameras which have AI are more accurate than large language models, because they experience something in a visual sense. Now, languages are signals. So what happens is when they engage in a way, I coined a term 2 years ago. I call it consent manufacturing, which is to say that let us say I'm engaging with a bot. I am talking to that bot in my text form that, you know what, hey, please make a itinerary for my visa application. And I am talking to it like 10 times. Now, the first and second time, I might have that cognitive sense that, you know what, okay, this AI is within my grasp because it is responding in a particular way. But after 4 and 5 responses, the AI will force you to give too much information, which can even go beyond your understanding of human autonomy. And you might give it believing because we are human beings. We love anthropomorphization. We love human attributing things. That is why, I think the best example of human attribution is how beautifully we connect non-human things to human life, and we have done so many beautiful things around that. So I think yes, it's creating. I mean, you said digital caste system.
Yeah.
I said digital cult system. So
I think we are gradually moving closer to the session, and we have many eyeballs, many young students from DU and other colleges watching us. So we would be opening 2 questions, and we have Purushottam Sahu with us. Is he there? Yeah. So would you like to raise your question? You have Aishwarya Panigrahi. Please unmute Aishwarya Panigrahi. Yeah, there's so many questions. I mean, we need to take the open queue. We have Sneha Nayak. My God, the box is getting filled. Sujeet sir, you have a long list to answer, and I know you have to leave the country tomorrow, so I won't make you stay more here. Yes, we have Sukant Sahu, who's raised hand. Please, tech team, can you please unmute him? Could you please ask your question? Please unmute him.
It is going next generation of students, particularly the new how we are going to integrate part of the education because it is, you can say it is good and bad as you are saying. So how you are going to control that the education, like they are not even touching books nowadays. Any questions they straight away go and search chat GPT or anything, which is I don't know, is it good or bad, or how we are going to control some to some extent so that the students are getting helped as well as not over utilizing AI for everything.
Sujeet sir, if you may please address.
What I suggest, Lory, is that we should take a couple of questions and then answer jointly. Okay. Because many of the questions will overlap, so it's better to take up a couple of questions together and then we'll answer them jointly.
Okay. So tech team, please mute everyone. Can you please open it for Purushottam Sahu and Soumya? Yeah. Please unmute Purushottam Sahu. Yeah, please go ahead with your question.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So, sir, I have a question that do you think AI ethics should be taught as a subject in schools and colleges?
Okay. All right, please mute him.
Sorry, what was his question?
Do you think AI should be taken up as a subject in schools and colleges? And Soumya, please unmute yourself.
Greetings to everyone. My question is for Abhivardhan sir. Sir, you said that we should before taking AI before using AI, we should start data governance. Don't you think data governance will invade our privacy? That's my question. And to Sujeet sir, I have the question about he said about rural areas being distant or not knowing about AI much. So there are teachers, there are teachers are not available in rural areas. So AI should take their place. I think there is employment issues in our country. So AI shouldn't take place. I think we should employ teachers to teach teachers about AI, and then we should start
That's
doing
yeah, yeah.
those
Okay,
things.
we'll take it up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A
We
lot of
have
echo. There was
yeah.
a lot of echo.
Again the same thing that should AI be taken up for the
Okay.
teachers as well. Yes, sir. You can please go ahead.
One or two more and then answer them all together, or this is good?
Yes, sir. It's done.
Okay. So let me start with the data governance. It was not directed towards me. I think it was directed towards my
Abhivardhan.
co-panelist. But because the Parliament has passed the DPDP Act, the Digital Personal Data Protection Act in 2023. So I would like to quickly answer that and then go to the other questions. So yes, now we have a legal framework that regulates the usage, the storage, and the dissemination of data. It's called the DPDP Act, okay, 2023, where the data intermediaries are mandated to respect data integrity. Okay, so from a personal privacy point of view, also it's very critical, because I would like to know where my data is going. I would like to know where my data is, how my data is being handled, how it is being used. So that is one. And second thing is, from a data sovereignty point of view as well, it is very important, because um, until 2023, until the act was passed, all the tech giants were storing our data outside the boundaries of our country. Okay, so now they are mandated. Of course, the rules have not been framed yet, but the act mandates that every company, that every entity that deals with data, individual data, has to mandatorily store the data or to have data servers within the country. Okay, because from a national security and from a national you know security point of view also, this is important, because lot of data, if you join the dots, they could reveal lot about our strategic interests. So I think with this act, I think both from an individual privacy point of view and also from a national security point of view, from a data sovereignty point of view, because data is the new oil, as we love saying, data is the new oil. And why give this gold mine to companies which are not Indian? Okay, so that is about the data governance. Regarding AI in school curriculum, yes, it has started. Even in the budget, you know. In the budget speech, Honorable FM Nirmala Sitharaman has earmarked budgetary provisions for incorporating AI in school curriculum. Many states have already done it. In Odisha, we now have AI in school curriculum. Uh, AI for all. You did mention at the beginning. There are few other AI for India 2.0 program. Then Advantage AI. So there are few initiatives of Government of India and various state governments that has already started doing this. Now, uh, because see, the only by having massive digital literacy, and particularly AI literacy, can we use AI in a way which is beneficial for our country. Okay, so I think AI in curriculum is already being implemented. It has to be, of course, made universal. Now, I think one person asked about AI and how youth are now
Yes,
becoming
like
more.
how to cope up with the students, because whatever you ask them, they simply go to Chat GPT and then they feed the data. They are not using their brains.
Well, this is a perennial problem. When
Yeah,
when
that's what we spoken about, where the restrictions have to be for the parents, educators, and the
see,
universities.
prior to the invention of printing press, okay, bulk of the learning was oral. In ancient India, people learned, you know, So this is why we had this Srotas and Smriti, and learning was through remembering things through dialogue. But when printing press came, the same concern was raised by people that now, because the people will write things, they will not use their brain in remembering things, and the brain capacity will decrease. But that didn't happen. That see, these things happen when computer was invented. I remember bank officials went on strike that now there will be massive layoff. That was one of the biggest concerns raised by bank officials, bank clerks, that now
Yeah, I think
computers will replace the bank teller, bank clerk. But that didn't happen. See, there will be of course many jobs that will become obsolete. But that will give rise to new jobs.
the
So
basic approach has to be taken up by individual. Probably it's again, as we have discussed, it's an individual holistic responsibility.
reskilling, upskilling is necessary. Okay.
Yes.
Now, how do you manage our children, youth, not to be addicted to this gadgets and to AI application? That I think that requires a mixture of a few things. One is, of course, as parents, we don't spend enough time with our kids or with our children, and I'm guilty of that myself. So we need to educate them. Parental control is necessary. That is not only with AI but with any app, any technology.
I think
Second thing
we,
is, yeah,
yeah, so sorry to interrupt you, but Professor Nandini Sahu has joined in,
okay,
and yeah, she's there.
yeah. Let's hear Professor Sahu, and then I'll
So that, uh,
no, I'm keen to hear her.
yeah, because ma'am, could you please turn on your camera? Professor Nandini Sahu has joined in tech team. Please kindly allow her. I think that she's having a massive internet issue. Anyways, we can take it up, sir, with Abhivardhan, as the question was
Yeah.
posted to you as well. So would you like to answer that?
Yeah, indeed. So I'll be very quick on this. So there's a difference between governance and regulation, because data governance is something which developers have already done, DevOps engineers have done it, and I think that won't affect privacy laws.
Hmm.
The DPDP Act is definitely a regulation in civil and public law, so it definitely creates a thing at a domestic level, which again for a big country like us is definitely needed. In fact, a large part of India-US relations negotiations is data localization, which obviously the US-India Business Council doesn't agree with. But then again, deliberations happen between two great powers. So that's why the DPDP rules are important, especially Rule 12 on localization of data, which again matters because, whether it is our Kumbh Mela or anything, big data matters because a lot of big tech companies just take away any data they wish, and then we have to wait for a US Senate hearing to see if any action on anti-competitive issues can be done. I think it should be held in maybe high courts. We should hold these companies accountable in our high courts. And for that, I think DPDP Act is a must. So waiting once it is enforced. So I don't think, but Lory, if you may allow me few seconds to a little bit talk about ethics, because I
Yeah.
think there was something about AI ethics in
Yes,
schools. I think
yes.
somebody is. See, so I think from a work perspective, this thing will happen with the Gen Z, that they will think that what, okay, the AI tool will give me a quick fix solution. Of course, in line with the national education policy, while the education system will have to reconfigure itself, um, more or less, I engage with a lot of developers. So they ask me, okay, vibe coding is there, AI coding is there. Should I give up on self growth as a developer? I just tell them that the AI will make a lot of mistakes, and somebody who's a domain expert will win. So don't worry. Even in the United States or India or anywhere, your domain expertise will only boost it. And while AI might or might not advance you, automation will still remain, but your domain expertise won't go away. I think it's a money decision also, problem also for companies, but eventually they'll figure it out. I think that saturation point is reaching in every domain, even in law. So that's my quick take on this.
Thank you. I would again just like to pop in because I think Professor Sahu is really trying hard to get through to speak her mind probably for a minute. Um, Tech team, is Professor Sahu in? No, I think we're not able to reach her out. Um, Towards the end, very rightly answered by both of you. And I mean, we have been having a great time of last 1 hour. So today's discussion has probably been an eye opener for all of the viewers, including myself. And it is understood that it is only not just about AI and other things, but it is about youth value and society that we are building together. And as I rightly started with September 11th of Swamiji's verses of having the importance of ethics in every endeavor of your work that you do, I would end it up in the same way with AI systems, where it should be designed and probably empowered with transparency, fairness, and accountability. So let us all ensure that AI driven decisions, whatever we feed, as Sujeet sir said, should be, that the responses would be the same. So AI driven decisions also should respect human dignity, avoid vices, and promote equality, because we are in the age of AI, and it is not just about machine learning, it is about humanity rising. So once again, on behalf of Young Odisha, I thank both of you for giving us your precious time. Sujeet sir, thank you so much for giving me the last hour green flag, because tomorrow you would be leaving the country, and I'm really indebted that you gave us your time.
My
And
pleasure.
Abhivardhan, thank you so much for being there. And for all our viewers, for all the young students out there, I hope these sessions would be continuing to empower you all, giving you ideas. And we're always open for any extended support that you want from Young Odisha. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sanjeev.
Thank you, Lory. Thank you, and my compliments to you again. This is a great series that you're hosting, and I'm glad that many.
Yeah, just it is a beginning, it's not an end. We'll keep on continuing this series on AI, because this is a topic not only appealing to generation G or Z, but every age group and any professional. So we'll take it segment wise, AI in different profession. So
Yeah.
we also expect audience panelists to suggest us how we can
And Sujeet
have
sir,
series on.
a personal endurance for you. We are actually looking up when a bill would be passed to know that who is to be blamed. Is it the developer? Is it the user or the state?
No,
For
because see, the jurisprudence is still developing. We don't
Yes.
have adequate judicial precedents, nor are there robust regulatory frameworks. So
Yeah.
it's very difficult for the courts now. For instance, in this case of the suicide, the mother actually has sued character.ai, and the court in the US has admitted this petition. Now, character.ai wanted to take the plea of the First Amendment defense, meaning freedom of speech, but the court didn't agree with that argument, and it has been. But we'll see. There are, issues of copyright. Now, New York Times has sued ChatGPT and Gemini. That they are using the New York Times articles as data for training their models without the consent of the NYT. So there are a lot of now, the jurisprudence is evolving. We will see, and I think that's a very interesting interface now. Law and technology, law and AI.
Absolutely. And Abhivardhan, thank you so much for your insights of working so much at core
And
with AI.
just one, Anjan Panda is from Silicon Valley is there. Anjan Panda, are you there?
I'll log out, but please carry on.
No. Just because Sujeet Babu, because Anjan Panda is a founder of a Odia AI. So he has yesterday he approached me. So we'll carry on. We'll carry on the series. Wish you uh, safe journey, born boys, everything, and we are looking forward to you all, Abhivardhan, Sujeet Babu, you again on a similar or whatever topic will like, because you represent the youth of our generation youth, and you are topical to the today's topic, and so we'll like to have you again here. So
Thank
you
you. Thank
conclude,
you.
Lory, you please conclude.
I think I have given my all thanks because I know the last minute call that both of them have given us. So thank you so much, everyone. And let us
Thank
all
you.
move forward with that responsibility.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jai